So, me personally, I don't really care about this change because, it's Sonic. But I know there are going to be a lot of people who do care about this for whatever reason. So Sega censors Rouge the Bat's bareback in Sonic X Shadows generations. Now, which is weird. Why Rouge though? If I remember, Amy also has her back exposed, probably a lot more than Rouge does. So why is she getting the cover up? I mean, I don't know if Amy's design has been redone to where it doesn't show her back, but last time I saw the character in game, eh, like top to like midway down the back, just back showing. So, are they going to change hers? Has it already been changed? I don't know. I don't play any of the newer games. I play more of the oldest Sonic games because that's what I grew up on. Now, I did play some of the Sonic Adventure. Now, those games were great. Of course, they were back when I was a teenager, so it was more in line what I would have played. But some of the newer games that come out, I haven't indulged in it. I did play, however, that terrible Sonic '06 game. I couldn't play it anymore. I was trying to fight Silver, and I couldn't. It just kept glitching out. He wouldn't die. And I said, you know what? Screw this game. But anyway, Rouge the Bat censors, they censor her back and all that. So, and perhaps one of the most bizarre examples of video game remake censorship seen in the medium's entire history. Leaked footage has revealed that Sega has covered up Rouge the Bat's bare back, while at the same time taking no action against Amy. Okay, so wait, so they're not. Okay, that makes no sense. Is there a picture of Amy here? Damn, boy! Damn, boy! No, yeah, okay, so there's Amy's. That they're not covering that up. Like, look how much back that's exposing. That's a lot of back right there. And she's got the fan service thing going on when she jumps in the air. So they're not covering that, but they're covering this. Is it because she's more of a sexualized character? I don't know. Sorry, this is kind of a bizarre choice. Again, doesn't matter to me either way, but people if are gonna kind of wonder, is like, why is she getting the censor but not Amy? Um, well, at the same time, nail action against Amy for sporting the same look in their upcoming Sonic X Shadow generations. The design change for the Winged Jewel Thief was confirmed just a few days ahead of the upgraded remake's official release date, courtesy of the game leaking early in its entirety to the wider internet. Not the smaller, more closed internet, the wider internet. Seizing upon this leak, a number of excited fans voluntarily proceeded to dive into Sonic X Shadows Generations contents. Therein exposing them. The only thing not being exposed here is Rouge's back. Therein exposing them to everything that the game had to offer, including its full cutscene offerings. And it was one of these cutscenes that a number of fans, including Twitter user Crack932, discovered that there were once the original generation. Discovered that where there once the original generations depicted Rouge with her bare back, as featured in all her appearances since her introduction in Sonic Adventure 2, and originally included in her design to both emphasize her femme fatale cat burglar character and allow her to freely use her. Well, I mean, to use the wings, I mean, even if she's wearing a full thing, one can just assume it's like Tails, not Tails the character, but like shows that have characters are enclosed but have tails. There's like a little hole in the back so where their tail can go through. Like the most one I can, the quickest one I can think of is Beerus. Beerus, Dragon Ball. Beerus has got his pants on, but then in the back you see like this little triangular, like diamond shape kind of cut out into the back where his tail can come out from. So, I mean, even if it's a full back covering, players would just assume that, yeah, there's holes or something where the holes aren't visible because I don't think they're going to care enough to like, oh, we got to make visible holes there so people know where their wings are coming out of. But most people who have common sense, like, yeah, it's, you know, it's cut away in there to where her wings can come out. And because that's usually what animals have in, anime or games or something. They have an open area cut out for whether their ears or their tails or whatever. So I don't think anyone's gonna look at this and be like, "Oh, how are her wings coming out?" But emphasize freely use her wings. Her lasting outfit saw her leotard extended to fully cover up the same area. Further, the same design change has also been applied to Rouge's appearance in the currently airing on YouTube anime tie-in series Sonic X Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings. Notably, according to her depiction in the series, while her back is now covered, her shoulder line still remains exposed, which, okay, yeah, that's another weird thing. Though this small detail does nothing to help how she can still use her wings through her clothes. Again, most people are not going to take the time to draw or animate, whatever. People are just going to assume, okay, it's coming through the clothing. There's a little opening there, and so I mean, it's the same thing about her tail. It's like her tail is her tail out? Her wings are black. But what about her tail? It's poking out through the leotard? Or is there a hole? I'm assuming it's a hole that's cut right there, to allow her tail to come out. Because her tail would probably be the same color as her wings. But it's also the same color as the leotard she's wearing. So it just looks like she's got her tail pointing out, in the leotard, just pointing out. But people are gonna like, no, they're not gonna care about those little details. They're gonna be noticing what's going on here, not, well, that's very odd looking. However, while the ideas of Rouge showing any amounts of suggestive skin was seemingly deemed too risque by Sega, curiously enough, the company did not give the same attention to Amy Rose. Amy Rose is here! As highlighted by fellow Twitter user Bullniku, in Sonic X Shadow Generations, the pink-hued hedgehog continued to sport the standard red open-back dress she has worn ever since making the leap to... Yeah, and her first iteration was a lot more conservative. She was like wearing like this little cute dress type thing. But then they gave her like that open back one. That's kind of been her style since they changed her character. Actually, hang on. This is what Amy pretty much originally looked like. And then they kind of gave her the more traditional, what you see now. So, yeah, went from like this, little green shirt and skirt to this, what we now see as Amy's kind of definitive outfit, and which also has a open back. So I kind of find it weird. Again, I don't care either way, but then when you see that they're changing Rouge, but not Amy, whose back is definitely far more exposed than Rouge's is, it just kind of makes you like, okay, why? It's not going to affect the gameplay. It's not affecting anything, but it's like they're making this change to her, but not to Amy, whose back is by far more exposed. To this end, while Sega has yet to officially address either their censorship of Rogue or discrepancy in their treatment of her and Amy, and who knows if they ever will, current speculation suggests that the Jewel Thief received the treatment and not the rightful wielder of the Pico Pico hammer because, simply put, her character is intentionally and inherently more sexy than her younger friend. Yeah, That's one thing I would probably imagine because Rouge is seen more as the sexy one, even though they're all animals. Um, Rouge is definitely the more sexualized one. Um, Sadly, such remake censorship is not unheard from by Sega. Upon its release earlier this year, Persona 3 Reload, as developed by Sega's subsidiary Atlas, was found to have completely removed and replaced an entire social encounter wherein the player's party discovers Junpei has been hitting on a male to female transgender woman, ostensibly due to its contents being handed primarily in service of humor. In Reload, Junpei is instead shocked to find that the sunbathing woman has been hitting on him is not trans, but rather a over-the-top conspiracy theorist. That's what you guys went with? Ultimately, while said censorship is confirmed for Sonic X Shadow's generation, whether this change to Rouge's design is temporary or her new standard remains to be seen. October 20. Okay, so like a week away or so. What? Even those weird Sonic characters are getting bonked with a censor stick. Sega are a woke DEI company. I've heard of anti-white bigotry, but this is ridiculous. The only character with white fur is censored. Or is this specimen speciesism because Rouge is a bat and the game is all about hedgehog supremacy and Sonic is keep. Oh, people are so great. Do I really need to say that this is all sarcasm? I completely oppose censorship, but I have no issues with, issues with this. To me, it looks like it could have been a design choice rather than outright censorship. The shoulders are still open, so she still has a decent cup size and the feminine curves. But it's still like, again, Amy is the same way. Like, as you can see, her whole like none shoulders exposed, her whole back exposed. Yet it's Rouge who's getting this. It's just weird. Again, I don't care either way because it doesn't affect the character. It's not affecting. It's one of those censorship things that just makes you wonder why. It's like with World of Warcraft, you know. Oh, we're gonna take the paintings of beautiful women and change them all to fruit. Like, why? It doesn't change the gameplay. It doesn't affect anything, but the censorship is kind of weird. Weird, weird. So, you know, you know, like like this wrong. Like, see, look how far it goes down. Like Amy's is like all the way down. So, Sega, you're gonna because people are gonna look at this and say, "Oh, Amy's back is more exposed. Like her shoulders exposed, her whole back exposed, and yet it's the curvy, busty hedgehog or the bat that you choose to cover up, even though not nearly as. Is it because for the more? Actually, no, because that's more real. People think that's well, we can see where her wings are coming from, and they're now it's gonna be like, well, how are her wings coming out of her clothing? Again, it's just weird. Just when companies make these changes, it doesn't matter if they don't affect anything. It doesn't affect gameplay, but it just makes you wonder why they're doing it in the first place. Like I said, bowls of fruit. Let's take all the pictures of beautiful women in the game and change it to bowls of fruit. And this is the thing that we're talking about. What I was talking about. Here's an old picture that was in the game, and this is the newer one. This was from 2021. But beautiful woman, bowl of fruit. Censorship for what reason? What reason do they have to look at this and say, you know what? You know what would look better and would really make gamers feel better? Let's change it to a bowl of fruit. You know, a bowl of fruit is exactly what this game needs right now. So when I'm saying a bowl of fruit, this is what I'm referring to. Because it just came out of nowhere. Blizzard said nothing about it. And players are like, why? Why are you taking these pictures of these women and you're changing them to bowls of fruit? It's like the Chinese version of WoW, where you go and like all the bones and guts and stuff are replaced with like bread and rice. Actually, more bread. It should like World of Breadcraft. Go look at the Chinese client. Like all the bread. People are like, there's so much bread in that game. Like if you took that game and you were able to pull that bread out from the game, you could feed the world a million times over. Because anything that having to do with blood or bones or body parts is replaced with bread. You go into a lab and there's like supposed to like, you know, there's like abominations, you know, hooked up and all that, and all you see on the table, you see like, you know, red stuff, but then you also see bread. It's like, what? But yeah, this came completely out of nowhere, and people are just wondering why Blizzard was doing this in the first place. It doesn't affect gameplay. It doesn't, like, most of these, no one really even noticed, I think. Like, these paintings, I doubt anyone really noticed, but they felt the need to go change it to bowls of fruit. So that's kind of feels like what this situation is. It doesn't do anything. It's not affecting anything. But like, oh, we need to change it, but then keep another character the way she is. Companies, I swear. Anyway, what do you think about this groundbreaking change to Rouge the Bat? And do you remember the bowls of fruit? I know I did a video about it when it first happened, and people are just as confused now as they were back then. Like, why? Why? But anyway, that's gonna do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.